You're listening to part 1 of this audiobook. Enjoy the story? Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue listening. Now, let's begin part 1. Chapter 1. In a world where humans and elves live in harmony, there is an area shaped like a five-pointed star called the Carlos region. With its many mountains and vast forests, the Carlos region is a beautiful environment and suitable for elves, so there are many wild elves in the Carlos area, and they often flock together. The eastern part of the Carlos region is the place with the most mountains and forests in the entire region, and the area with the most mountains and forests is called the Mountain Carlos. The most wild elves live here, and there are many powerful elves. The terrain here is relatively rugged, so humans can basically only move in the marginal areas, and they can't go deep into the mountains of Carlos. Because of this, the wild elves inside run and shuttle in the mountains unscrupulously, without worrying about the invasion of hunters. On this day, the elves in the Mountain Carlos were still playing carefree in the mountains as usual, and suddenly a powerful energy fluctuation swept the entire Mountain Carlos. The wild elves of Carlos in the mountains ran back to their lair to hide, and this sudden energy fluctuation made them afraid and tremble. Then, another strange thing happened in the mountains of Carlos. Here the dragon elves inside the wild elves. I actually started to go crazy. And without warning, they began to attack other wild elves. Just when the wild elves were curious about what was going on, the sky of Carlos in the mountains suddenly darkened by half, and everyone looked up, their eyes full of fear. An unknown creature wrapped in super metal is standing in the sky. It has the form of a human, but its hands and feet are the claws of dragon elves, with steel-like claws on its hands, a knight-like helmet with horns on both sides, a sharp horn sticking out of the nose, and two hard shields on its back. The wild elves were dumbfounded, they had never seen such an elf. They also realized that the powerful energy fluctuation just now was emanating from that unknown elf in the sky. The originally mad dragon elf, after the arrival of this unknown elf, all went in its direction, crawling on the ground, looking like they were doing a ritual similar to prostrating to it. I saw that the terrifying elf coldly glanced at the dragon elves on the ground, and then emitted a dragon roar, and those dragon elves began to enter a state of madness again as if they had received some order, and began to wreak havoc in the Mountain Carlos. Then, the terrifying elf in the sky also left the Mountain Carlos and went to another place. At the same time, people in the Carlos region noticed that something was wrong. The human streets that wild elves don't dare to step on weekdays, but there are many wild elves fleeing in panic. And the eyes of these elves were full of horror, as if they had encountered something terrifying. And behind these fleeing wild elves, there were dragon elves who didn't know what went crazy for what reason. These dragon elves without exception, their eyes have turned bloodthirsty red, and they can't distinguish right from wrong. Whether they encounter elves or humans, they will attack for no reason. Several places in the Carlos area caused riots due to the sudden madness of the dragon elf group. This incident directly caused a sensation in the entire Carlos region. The Elf Alliance sent many troops to quell the riot. But these berserk dragon elves are very powerful. Even if these berserk dragon elves are captured, because the number is too large, it is impossible to capture them completely. Major media programs are reporting on this riot, and strangely, no one knows what the reason for this elf riot is, and the elves of the riot are all dragon elves. Many experts and doctors have come out to study the reasons that caused these dragon elves to riot, but they have not found a reason. They just feel that these rioting dragon elves seem to be controlled by an extremely powerful mysterious existence. The recent rumors of the dragon elf riot were rumored, and when Qin Mu learned about it, his brows immediately furrowed. It can't be that guy who did it. Qin Mu returned to his place of residence and found that the battle Tyrannosaurus beast that should have been in the backyard had disappeared. Qin Mu was sure that this dragon elf riot was definitely made by this guy fighting the Tyrannosaurus beast. In order not to let this riot intensify, Qin Mu quickly used the spirit ball to find the traces of the battle Tyrannosaurus beast. Finally, Qin Mu found the battle Tyrannosaurus beast in a forest near the mountain area of Kakarus. This guy was watching the two dragon elves duel on the sidelines, while the surrounding wild elves shivered in the corner. Battle Tyrannosaurus beast! Qin Mu roared. Originally, in front of these wild elves, it was still a high-flying battle Tyrannosaur beast, and when he heard this familiar voice, his huge body trembled a few times. The battle Tyrannosaurus beast immediately came to Qin Mu, lowered its head, and seemed to realize that he had made a mistake. You guy, who let you run out privately? Qin Mu angrily scolded the battle Tyrannosaurus beast. The strength of the battle Tyrannosaurus beast is very strong, but this guy is naughty by nature. and he didn't expect that this time it would cause a riot of wild dragon elves in the Carlos area. In the face of Qin Mu's scolding, the head of the battle Tyrannosaurus beast was buried lower. Hurry up and stop those dragon elves, do you know how much has happened in the Carlos region now because of you? The battle riot beast looked like it was wronged by its parents, so it had to do as Qin Mu said, and took back the control energy on those dragon elves. Qin Mu then took out a spirit ball. Give me an honest self to enter. The battle Tyrannosaurus beast suddenly sat on the ground with a butt, looking at Qin Mu with pitiful eyes, as if to say, can't it be done if it doesn't proceed? A big guy who has the ability to control all dragon spirits to create riots and terrorist forces, at this moment, he actually sprinkled in front of Qin Mu. Qin Mu showed no mercy and said sharply. It's useless. For more novels, 40282, join, https://discord.gg/xcast. You obediently enter the poke ball, and think about it inside. You must be well remembered. The battle Tyrannosaurus beast could only obediently enter the spirit ball. Qin Mu put away the spirit ball containing the battle Tyrannosaurus beast. Seeing that the dragon elves on the side were still looking at him with a very fearful look, an idea suddenly appeared in Qin Mu's mind. Kaido Hall to increase prestige. Because of the battle of Tyrannosaurus beasts, many dragon elves were gathered here. And it seemed a good idea if he brought all these elves back and opened a dojo with only dragon elves. Qin Mu immediately used the spirit ball to take away the strongest dragon elves here, returned to the Longxiu town he rented, bought a suitable place with almost all the money he had, and opened a Taoist hall, the name is, Dragon Dojo. Half a year later. Inside the White Sandalwood Hall in the Carlos area. With a loud bang, a big dish fell on the ring, the whole body was still smoking blue, the body still twitched from time to time, and its originally bright wings became scorched black. Pikachu, well done. Pikapi. Ash hugged Pikachu, who won the first battle, and just now, he led Pikachu to challenge the White Tan Dojo and won the victory. Congratulations, Ash, your Pikachu is really powerful, one move of 100,000 electric volts will stun the BA Datish to the ground. The staff of the White Tan Dojo Hall brought Ash the Carlos badge. Whoever challenges and wins at the gym will receive a precious Carlos badge. The Carlos coat of arms represents strength in the Carlos region. The more trainers you have with Carlos badges, the more powerful you are. This Carlos badge of the White Tan Taoist Hall has great significance to Ash, because it is his first Carlos badge. Serena. You see, I did it. I got a Carlos badge. Ash, who got the badge, excitedly showed Serena. Not long after Ash and Serena came to the Carlos area, the White Tan Dojo was the first challenge Ash chose to challenge, and this victory gave Ash more confidence. Congratulations, Ash, it seems that you are just around the corner to become an excellent elf trainer. Serena praised Ash, and Ash's close cooperation with Pikachu was now more and more amazing, and the battle with Bada Butterfly just now took only a few minutes. Xiaoji, who had successfully challenged the White Tan Dojo, greatly increased his confidence, and he suddenly thought of hearing several trainers he met on the road before saying that Carlos' newly established Dragon Dojo was very powerful, and he couldn't help but have some thoughts in his heart. Xiaoji asked the staff of the White Tan Taoist Hall about the route to this Longxi Taoist Hall, and also got some news about this Longxi Taoist Hall from the staff. Although this Dragon Dojo has not been established for a long time, there are many trainers who go to challenge, but without exception, the trainers who go to challenge are all failures. Is that Dragon Dojo really so powerful? After hearing this, Ash's desire to go to this Dragon Dojo Hall became stronger and stronger. After inquiring about some news about the Dragon Dojo, Ash thanked the staff and left with Serena. Ash, do you want to go to that Dragon Dojo to challenge? Serena knew that Ash must be interested in that Dragon Dojo now. Faced with Serena's inquiry, Ash nodded. The challenge at the White Tan Dojo was very smooth, so I want to take Pikachu to chase after the victory and challenge that Dragon Dojo. But that Dragon Dojo may not be as simple as you think. Serena stopped and said to Ash with a solemn face. Half a year ago, a major event occurred before Carlos, and a huge elven riot suddenly broke out in the northeastern mountains of the Carlos region. I don't know why, but all the troubled elves are dragon attributes. The other wild elves were frightened and ran to the area where humans lived. The riot immediately attracted worldwide attention, but was stopped by a mysterious man. However, no one knows who stopped the Dragon Elf riot. But strangely, as the riot of the Dragon Elves was quelled, this Dragon Hall was established, and the elves in the hall were all Dragon Elves, so many people suspected that the director of this dragon hall may be the mysterious person who quelled the elf riot at that time, but no one has evidence to prove it. After listening to what Serena said, Ash pondered for a moment, and suddenly his expression soared. Sounds challenging. Then I should go more. Enjoying part 1 so far? This is only the beginning. Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue the story. Now, let's continue. Chapter 2. Ash, don't be impulsive. Since the establishment of the Dragon Dojo Hall for half a year, there have been countless challengers, but without exception, all of them have failed miserably and kept a clean sheet. Moreover, although the Dragon Dojo has been established for a short time, it has become the most difficult to challenge success in the Kakaro's area. Serena continues to dissuade Ash. The White Tan Dojo is also a famous dojo in the Carlos area, but in the face of my challenge with Pikachu, I still won it easily. Although no one has been able to successfully challenge the successful Dragon Dojo yet, someone always has to give it a try, and if I don't give it a try, how do I know if I can challenge it successfully? Serena saw that Ash had made up her mind, and she no longer continued to dissuade, but she was still faintly worried in her heart, and her intuition told her that this time to the Dragon Dojo would definitely not go well. Somewhere in the east of the Carlos region, a black-haired man was sitting in the doorway of a dojo. His eyes kept looking at the side of the road, as if expecting something. This Taoist hall is the famous Dragon Daoist hall in half a year, and the man sitting at the door is the person who established this Dragon Daoist hall, Qin Mu. As the curator of the Dragon Daoist hall who became Carlos's most difficult challenge to succeed in less than half a year since its establishment, Qin Mu actually had an unknown secret. He's actually a crosser. He crossed into this magical world half a year ago, and the creation of this Dragon Dojo was all for the purpose of doing system tasks. Qin Mu's system is a dragon system of god selection, which requires him to establish a Dao hall, accumulate prestige and increase his reputation to get a chance to choose god. Perhaps because of Qin Mu's arrival, it caused a riot about the dragon elves, and Qin Mu quelled the riot by relying on the system, and took the rioting dragon elves under his command. And the system also rewarded Qin Mu with a chance to choose god. Qin Mu chose Super Charizard X. In order to continue to obtain the opportunity of gods chosen, Qin Mu established this Dragon Daoist hall, and accumulated the reputation of the Daoist hall again and again in the challenges that many people admired. With this Super Charizard X, no one in the Dragon Dojo has been able to challenge successfully in half a year. But Qin Mu knew that the Super Charizard was the weakest one in the gods chosen system, and the gods chosen dragon elves after that would only get stronger and stronger. Qin Mu was very much looking forward to the next divine election, and worked hard to brush the reputation of his own Taoist hall. Until only one last challenge is left to increase the reputation of the dojo. It's just that the trainers who came to challenge the Dragon Department Taoist hall all ended up miserably, and the reputation was beaten, but it also made some trainers stop, and fewer people came, although only one challenge to Qin Mu could successfully improve the reputation of the Taoist hall, but it also made him wait for 2 days. For 2 days, no one set foot in the Dragon Department Taoist hall. However, Qin Mu knew that what should come would always come, and all he had to do was wait patiently. Finally, the Emperor did not pay off. And the two figures slowly met Qin Mu's gaze. The people who came were Ash and Serena. Seeing the deserted dojo, Ash and Serena thought for a moment that they were in the wrong place. Is this the Dragon Dojo? Coming, finally coming. Qin Mu got up to greet the two. That's right, the two of you are coming. My name is Ash, this is my partner Serena, and I am here to challenge the Dragon Dojo. Ash said confidently. When Serena first saw this black-haired man, she felt that this person had a powerful aura, and a special temperament, which made her confused. My name is Qin Mu, I am the curator of this Taoist hall, and I welcome the two of you to come and challenge. What? Ash exclaimed at the same time as Serena. The young man in front of him, who may not look like he is 20, is actually the curator? You must know that the curators of the White Tan Taoist hall are already 50 or 60, with grey hair, and they are very qualified at a glance. With such a young curator, Ash and Serena are still meeting for the first time, and besides, this dojo is still known as the most difficult dojo for Carlos to challenge success. After Serena learned that the young man with a powerful aura in front of her was the curator, she was even more sure that the mysterious person who quelled the riot of the Dragon Elves half a year ago was this person in front of her. Awe suddenly arose in my heart. So young, but with the strength to calm the dragon elves of the entire Carlos continent, Serena knew in her heart that Ash was going to be deflated here this time. But Ash does not have such an awareness. His Pikachu has fought with him countless times, and he has lost only a handful of battles, and he is very confident in himself. Qin Mu brought the two to the Taoist Hall and introduced the rules of the Taoist Hall to them. As long as one party's elf falls and loses its ability to fight, the other side wins, and the winning party is the challenger who will receive a Carlos badge from the main hall. The rules are simple and crude: winning is winning, losing is losing. You can ask me any questions you have. May I ask, what are the elves of the Taoist Hall fighting this time? Ash asked with some expectation. With a wave of Qin Mu's hand, an elf summoning ball was thrown out, and the moment the summoning ball landed, Super Charizard X appeared in the ring. Super Charizard! Serena on the side exclaimed. Dragon elves are already relatively rare, while powerful dragon elves are fewer, and super fire-breathing dragons are extremely rare. And the elves are also graded, and the fire-breathing dragon in front of him is not only twice as large as the average fire-breathing dragon, but the flame on the tail is also extremely dazzling. You can reach SSS level at a glance. The appearance of this super fire-breathing dragon made Ash can't help but choke on a mouthful of saliva. Unexpectedly, it is a super fire-breathing dragon. As soon as it appears, it seems that this dragon dojo is indeed very unusual. Ash looked at Pikachu, who had been standing on his shoulder. Pikachu actually curled up, looking at the fire-breathing dragon with a look of even more fear. Pikachu, cheer up, Charizard, we also fought, and won that battle, remember? Ash inspired Pikachu. Charizard, they did fight, but the level of that Charizard was far less than the one in front of him. Ash's words of encouragement were very useful, and Pikachu immediately cheered up. Ash, are you ready? Qin Mu asked Xiaoji. Super Charizard hadn't seen the challenger come for 2 days, and they couldn't wait to see Xiaoji. Go, Pikachu! Pikapi! As Ash's voice fell, Pikachu jumped into the ring. Pikachu bent his front paws and threw his back, ready for battle. The challenge begins. As soon as Qin Mu's words sounded, the gong on the ring sounded at the same time. Almost at the same time, Charizard flared its wings and instantly came to Pikachu, revealing its sharp claws. Just as Charizard's blade-like claws were about to touch Pikachu, Pikachu jumped to the side and dodged. Pikachu was not to be outdone and immediately fought back. Pikachu launched an electric shock at the Super Charizard, which easily dodged with a wave of its wings in the face of the rapid electric shock. Ash clenched his fists nervously, his eyes fixed on the ring. Pikachu, move at high speed to Charizard's side, and then use 100,000 volts. Pikachu got Ash's command and immediately took action, using high speed to move to Charizard's side, and then charged to cast 100,000 volts. I have to say that Ash is worthy of being a person who has experienced 100 battles with Pikachu. Pikachu uses high-speed movement to come to Charizard to cast 100,000 volts, and the close-range attack can make it difficult for the huge Charizard to dodge. However, Charizard is not a vegetarian, and in the face of the high-damage 100,000 volts, it did not choose to dodge, but opened its mouth, spewed flames, and directly greeted Pikachu's 100,000 volts. Pikachu was still reluctant to use 100,000 volts to compete with Charizard's flames at first, but soon 100,000 volts consumed more and more energy, and it was impossible to support it. Ash knows that if this continues, Pikachu will definitely lose. Pikachu, don't continue to spend time with Charizard, dodge its flame attacks, and then find the opportunity to charge with the ultimate invincibility. Pikachu no longer released 100,000 volts, but the flames of Charizard instantly surrounded. Pikachu wanted to escape, but he was still unable to match the speed of the flame attack, so that the aftermath of the flame attack hit. But even so, Pikachu insisted on making the ultimate invincible charge against Charizard the moment he landed. Charizard showed a tired look on his face, then spread his wings, came to Pikachu at a faster speed than before, and fired a flame bomb. It's very fast. The flame bomb made Pikachu hit his body solidly without any resistance. Pikachu suddenly fell to the ground unconscious. The challenge failed. Qin Mu said this unexpected result. Ash quickly ran to the ring and put Pikachu into the summoning ball to heal his injuries. The speed and power of Super Charizard's last blow just now were stronger than before, and it was obvious that Super Charizard did not fully show its strength at first. Ash lost, but he wasn't frustrated. This fire-breathing dragon is simply too strong. Is this super fire-breathing dragon the strongest hole card in the dojo? Xiao Ji asked Qin Mu. Now he also knew why so many people came to challenge the Dragon Department Daoist Hall, but no one succeeded. Qin Mu shook his head in the surprise of Zai and Serena. No, this is my weakest elf. Qin Mu's understated words made Xiao Ji feel that his worldview was about to collapse, and the fire-breathing dragon that hoisted Pikachu turned out to be the weakest one in the Dragon System Taoist Hall. Receiving such an unexpected answer, Ash left here with Serena in dismay. Ding dong. Gain prestige and succeed. Reputation increased to level 2. Mid-Autumn Festival reading every day. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP bonds. Immediately preemptive, event period, September 10th to September 12th. Chapter 3. God's chosen object is the green-eyed white dragon. Hearing the system's prompt tone, Qin Mu was very happy. With his reputation successfully raised to level 2, he can now start his second chosen. Qin Mu's God-chosen system can choose all the dragons in the 10,000 worlds by default, but the prestige level is low at the beginning, and the space for choice is relatively small, so the first time he chose a fire-breathing dragon. Now upgraded to the second level, the spatial range of the God's chosen dragon will definitely be larger, and the elves will be more powerful. Sure enough, the system provided dragons with 3 attributes for Qin Mu to choose from. They are water, light, and light. Qin Mu wandered among the 3 options, and after thinking for a moment, he chose the light attribute. Light attribute dragons are rarer than water attribute and thunder attribute dragons, and it is easy to open dragons with explosive strength. Ding dong. Is it confirmed that the second level God-chosen host selects the dragon with the light attribute? Confirm. As soon as Qin Mu's words fell, a dazzling light appeared out of thin air, and along with this light, a dragon appeared. Ding dong, God's chosen is complete, and God's chosen object is the green-eyed white dragon. Green-eyed white dragon. Qin Mu looked at the dragon in front of him and muttered. The green-eyed white dragon with light attributes in front of him was pitch white all over, as if its whole body was wrapped in shiny armor, wrapped in light, dazzling and dazzling. The 2 dragon eyes are blue, like gemstones, revealing a mysterious aura. Qin Mu was shocked at the first sight of this green-eyed white dragon. The ring of the Daoist Hall was 300 meters large, and this green-eyed white dragon accounted for half of the size. Qin Mu stepped forward and tested the elven attributes of the green-eyed white dragon. To his shock, the values of the test kept rising. After the value rose to a full score of 100, it fell again until it reached 0. What's the situation? Qin Mu was puzzled in his heart, and then immediately thought of the answer. It must be that the attributes of this green-eyed white dragon are so powerful that it has broken through the boundaries of detection. Qin Mu observed the green-eyed white dragon for 3 minutes before withdrawing the green-eyed white dragon from the summoning ball. Looking at Qin Mu, who even summoned the ball was pitch white and radiant, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. It seemed that with this blue-eyed white dragon, the possibility that others could successfully challenge the Dao Hall was almost 0. Somewhere in the studio west of Carlos, a shout attracted the photographers who were on a mission nearby. Something strange. Come and see. A man in his 30s looked at the content presented on dozens of screens in front of him and called his colleagues in shock to come in and watch this strange scene. This is one of the stationing points of the Elven World program, which is a real-time video from photographers from all over the place, and their mission is to photograph various elves. But what is strange is that these elves who were filmed were fine 1 second, and the next second they hugged their heads and curled up together, as if they were very scared. Look, what's wrong with these elves? There is nothing suspicious in these pictures. Not only these elves in the video, I was just about to go on a mission with my BB bird, and BB bird suddenly threw himself into my arms and surrounded himself with his wings, and his whole body trembled, which startled me. My elves too. Mine too. These elves all look terrified. Do they feel something that scares them? One of them spotted the hot spot. Quick! Send all these videos back to headquarters. It is sure to cause a wave of viewership craze. At the same time, the headquarters of the Elven World channel, almost at the same time, received video recordings of the strange performance of the elves from various stationing points. Headquarters was also very efficient, and the videos were simply processed and broadcast. Soon, the incident received a huge response, and almost everyone was saying that their elves had made abnormal moves at the same moment, and it lasted for 3 minutes. The central part of Carlos is where the headquarters of the Elven League is located, surrounded by oases and flower fields, and the environment is very pleasant and quiet. However, dozens of shadows that suddenly broke into the sky broke the silence here. Just now, the district chiefs of the Elven Alliance were urgently summoned and gathered together in a meeting at the headquarters. League Chief, all district chiefs have arrived. Miss Lalizy, the secretary of the Alliance leader, stepped forward and said to the man sitting at the top with his back to everyone. The man waved his hand, and Miss Lalizy nodded and stood aside. The man sat on the chair and turned around, with a pair of sunglasses in his eyes, making it difficult to see his expression. 20 minutes ago, the headquarters detected the appearance of a huge energy fluctuation. This powerful energy is enough to make all the wild elves of Carlos tremble nervously. Do you have any opinion on this? Kui Lai, the mayor of District 1, stood up. Alliance leader, with such a powerful energy fluctuation, there is no doubt that it must be a divine beast. What do others think? I think District Chief Kui is right, there must be a divine beast born. Other district chiefs agreed with Kui's statement. The Alliance leader nodded. I called you here to discuss this mysterious beast. The League leader waved his hand, and Miss Lalizy came up with the video material and showed it to the district chiefs. The abnormal behavior of those elves lasted for 3 minutes, which means that this divine beast appeared for 3 minutes and then hid again. Miss Lilico summarizes the information in the video. Alliance leader, during this time, the other major forces have been ready to move, especially the Dark Hunting Group, completely ignoring the rules set by the Elf Alliance. They have already done the business of burning and robbing. If the divine beast is allowed to fall into someone's power again, then the status of the Elf Alliance may be. Kui Lai did not continue. He knew, and the Alliance leader also knew it all in his heart. Therefore, the divine beast that appeared this time, we must start first. You can't let the divine beast fall into the hands of others. So the next time the divine beast appears in a certain area, we must fight the spirit of 12 points to explore. Everyone nodded yes. The Carlos area has always been managed by the Elf Alliance, but in recent years, 3 major forces have risen, the 7-Color Dojo Group, the Night Sea Group and the Dark Hunting Group, and the power of these major groups is growing day by day, which has threatened the Elf Alliance, the master who was originally in Carlos. And the appearance of this divine beast will definitely become a hot spot for major forces. You know, the last time a divine beast appeared, it was 100 years ago, and whoever has a divine beast has the strength to crush other forces. Become Carlos #1 force. Mid-Autumn Festival reading every day. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP bonds. Immediately preemptive, event period, September 10th to September 12th. Chapter 4. 7 Colors Dojoken Group. Dark Hunting Group. Carlos people will have a very resentful expression on their faces whenever they hear this name, but they are very afraid of a name. The hunting group must be doing the thing of hunting wild elves, but the Dark Hunting Group is also secretly doing the poacher's business, not only hunting wild elves, but also poaching the elves with masters. Almost all Carlos locals know about this, but everyone only dares to be angry and dare not speak. The power of the Dark Hunting Group is very large, and they really dare not provoke. Especially in recent years, the power of the Dark Hunting Group has become more and more powerful, and the poaching work done in the secret in the past has become more and more brazen, treating the rules formulated by the Elf Alliance as air, which is undoubtedly a provocation to the Elf Alliance. However, in the face of such a provocation, the Elf Alliance can only turn a blind eye for the time being. If it really deals with the Dark Hunting Group, it is not certain that it can win a big victory, and when both are defeated, I am afraid that other forces will take advantage of the void. Therefore, when the Elf Alliance does not have a very strong elven strength, it will not act rashly. Although the reputation of the Dark Hunting Group is very loud, no one knows where the headquarters of the Dark Hunting Group is, because the headquarters of the Dark Hunting Group is in the sky. That's right. The headquarters of the Dark Hunting Group is in the sky. Built on a cracked empty seat. The Rift Void seat is the existence of a divine beast. It's just that this rift seat is a rift seat with no signs of life. Just a few years ago, the leader of the Dark Hunting Group discovered this rift seat floating in the air but had no vital signs by chance, and he had the idea of establishing his own group headquarters on it. Therefore, after such a long time, no one knows where the headquarters of the Dark Hunting Group is, even the people within the group, only a few high-level people know. The things that had caused a big sensation in the Carlos region had naturally reached the ears of the leader of the Dark Hunting Group long ago. Chief, it's all rumored outside, a new divine beast has been born. One person crawled on the ground and said respectfully to the position above. Oh? Is it? A very magnetic but indistinguishable voice came from above, and the person who had been crawling on the ground did not dare to look up. Since Li Wang came to this paradise place on the Fast Dragon, He had never dared to look up at the above, and a very tough aura pressed him, making him never dare to raise his head. After so long in the dark hunting group, Li Wang had not seen the true face of his leader, because the person above not only put himself in the dark, but also wore a silver-white mask on his face. He didn't even know whether his leader was male or female, and he didn't dare to speculate on himself, because the strength of the leader was very terrifying. It's all rumored outside, and the other major forces seem to have moved. The divine beast is an extremely terrifying existence. If we can have a divine beast, we will definitely be able to kill the other major forces and become the real master of Carlos. Li Wang waited for a long time, only to get a he couldn't help but continue to ask. Chief, what do you mean? As long as you don't let this divine beast fall into the hands of others, you can do whatever you want. The words landed, and a silver object rolled down at Li Wang's feet. After Li Wang picked it up and saw what it was, he was overjoyed. This is a silver legendary elf. The leader actually rewarded him casually. It seems that he has followed the dark hunting group all these years and is a very right choice. When necessary, take it out. Yes. Chieftain. Li Wang secretly decided in his heart that their hunting group must get the divine beast. If you can't get it, then let everyone not get it. Even without the help of divine beasts. With the strength of the leader, in time, the dark hunting group will definitely become the only master of the Carlos region. Challenge failed. As an indifferent system voice sounded, a girl showed a lost expression on her face. This is the 7th time she has come to the purple dojo to challenge, but she didn't think about it, but she still failed. Is my Jenny turtle really so weak? The girl shouted angrily. It's not that your Yanni turtle is weak, it's that the dojo you chose is too strong. The teenager on the side couldn't help but speak up. Hey! The girl was puzzled. Do you know the 7 Colors Dojo group? The teenager really didn't know anything about the girl, so he popularized science for her. There are 7 most famous dojos under the 7 Colors Taoist Hall, which are the 7 Taoist halls of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and the purple Taoist hall you choose is the weakest of them, but even the weakest Taoist hall is a level that many people can't reach. Not to mention that you have challenged 7 times, some people have challenged for years without success. Those who can pass the challenge of the 7-color dojo are world-class elf training masters. The old man sitting in the corner drinking tea took in this scene in his eyes and ears, and there was a middle-aged man sitting opposite him. Elder Hong, look at your 7-color Taoist hall, you have become a god in the hearts of those children. Elder Hong put down the teacup and smiled slightly. Child, what you said should not be true, but your Night Sea Group's business is getting bigger and bigger, and I heard that a silver legend elf has appeared in the night auction house recently. Yalanchen shook his head, not letting Elder Hong continue. Rumors are rumors, rumors. Elder Hong, do you believe this? Elder Hong smiled again. Okay, don't talk about this silver legend elf, but you should have heard about the mysterious divine beast recently, right? Speaking of the divine beast, Yalanchen's expression became solemn. This matter has been making a lot of noise recently, I don't want to hear about it, but Elder Hong, you mentioned it, I want to talk to you. Elder Hong's face was still calm, as if he had a premonition of what Yalanchen wanted to talk to him about. Divine Beast, our Night Sky group is really not interested, but the strength of the Divine Beast is too strong. If it falls into the hands of some malicious people, maybe the world will not be peaceful. So what do you mean? Elder Hong, let's get straight to the point, don't hide it. Yelan Tian saw that Elder Hong was still pretending to be stupid, so he directly broke it and said it. Land God, I, an old man, have no energy to compete for the Divine Beast, but you are right, if the Divine Beast falls into the hands of people with bad intentions, it is indeed not good for you and me. Yelanchen's eyes lit up. So you said yes? I promise you. The two of us cooperate, as long as the Divine Beast falls into our hands, it belongs to both of us. I don't dispose of the Divine Beast without permission. Never use Divine Beasts to do things that hurt heaven and reason. Old Hong is old and hot, naturally he will not easily believe a person, and his original intention of not staying overnight is exactly his intention. As long as the Divine Beast does not fall into the hands of a certain force, Carlos can continue to be calm. At this time, in the special training room in the Purple Hall, Xiaoji, who had been training for several days and nights inside, walked out with resolute steps. This time, Ash has full confidence that he will be able to challenge and succeed. Chapter 5. The first battle of the green-eyed white dragon. The Dragon Department Daoist Hall has successively come to challenge these days, but just like before, it has not set off any waves. Qin Mu had been expecting a strong master to appear and defeat the fire-breathing dragon, and then he took out his newly acquired blue-eyed white dragon to fight with one, just in time to see the strength of the green-eyed white dragon. It's just that Qin Mu hasn't waited for such a person to appear. However, he also heard about the recent birth of a new divine beast in Carlos. I wonder if my blue-eyed white dragon can compete with that divine beast. When Qin Mu heard this, the first reaction in his mind was this. What he didn't know was that it was his blue-eyed white dragon that appeared and was recognized by everyone as a divine beast. Until the evening, no one had come to the Dragon Daoist Hall. Qin Mu thought that no one was coming today, and was about to close the hall, when a somewhat familiar voice came over. Pavilion Master Qin. Qin Mu fixed his eyes. It turned out to be Ash and Serena again. Qin Mu was a little surprised. He didn't expect Xiao Ji to come to the Dragon Department Dao Hall again so soon. And the partner next to Zai, Serena, seemed to have been looking at him with an adoring look, and Qin Mu didn't know if it was his illusion. Pavilion Chief Qin, I want to challenge the Dragon Dao Hall again. This time I am very confident that I can defeat your fire-breathing dragon. Qin Mu smiled slightly after hearing this. If Xiao Ji could really defeat his fire-breathing dragon, it would be even better. He would have a chance to show the blue-eyed white dragon. Ash, are you really sure that you won't go back to special training for a few days, right? I don't think I'm in such a hurry. Serena has admired Qin Mu from the bottom of her heart since she saw the power of the Dragon Dojo, although Zai is her good friend, but in the face of such a powerful opponent, she really can't build up confidence. Serena, a defeat once does not mean a failure in the future. This time I am really sure to defeat Charizard. Believe me. Hearing Xiao Ji's words, Qin Mu admired Xiao Ji a little. To be honest, Xiao Ji is the best among his peers, although he is young, but his strength is indeed not to be underestimated. It's okay, if you don't give it a try, how can you know the result? Serena saw that Qin Mu also helped Xiao Ji speak, and stopped fighting, and followed them into the ring arena. Qin Mu released Charizard, and Ash also let Pikachu enter the ring to prepare. Pikachu, just like we did during our special training. Come on. Pikachu heard Ash's words and looked at Charizard with more determination in his eyes. In the past few days of devil training in the Purple Hall, it has greatly increased its strength, and its cooperation with Ash is also more brilliant. This time, it will definitely be able to turn over this big man in front of it that is 10 times larger than itself. The challenge begins. Qin Mu sounded the gong, and the battle was about to break out. This time, Pikachu took the lead and directly used a super spiral combo to attack Charizard. Charizard also did not expect that Pikachu would use its small body to force himself as soon as he came up, thinking that Pikachu, who was so much smaller than himself, would not cause any harm to himself, so he stood there and hidden, intending to use his body to directly resist this move. Pikachu. This is the time. With Ash's call, something unexpected happens. Pikachu, who was originally going to perform a super spiral combo against Charizard, changed his moves in an instant and made a thunderbolt. Pikapi. Pikachu used his best strength to use his own trick to hit the fire-breathing dragon. Charizard didn't have time to react because of underestimating the enemy, and was hit by Pikachu solidly. Pikachu, chase with victory, with 100,000 volts. Don't give Charizard a chase to fight back. Seeing that it was a good opportunity, Ash quickly planned the next step for Pikachu in the ring. After Pikachu got the order, he immediately used his second trick of 100,000 volts. Spitfire, which had just been struck by lightning, ushered in a second trauma, and Charizard was unable to fight back this time. With blue smoke all over his body, his head was blinded by electricity, and he directly knelt on one knee on one leg in the ring. This scene did not surprise Qin Mu. Charizard's strength is indeed far above Pikachu, but this time Ash and Pikachu cleverly used tactics to deceive the unsuspecting Charizard, which won Charizard. However, I have to say that in the battle, strength is important, and appropriate combat countermeasures are also very important, and Ash and Pikachu deserve to be a pair of partners with a very tacit understanding. Come back, Charizard! Qin Mu threw out the summoning ball and collected the fire-breathing dragon into the summoning ball. Watching Charizard being defeated by Pikachu, Qin Mu's face showed a hint of excitement instead of loss. Because he finally had the opportunity to release his blue-eyed white dragon. Serena's surprised eyes didn't blink. She didn't expect Pikachu to really beat Charizard, and Ash actually did it. Serena, did you see that? I said I could definitely do it this time. Charizard has been defeated by me, and I will definitely succeed in the challenge this time. Ash was overjoyed. The training days in the special training room were specifically for Charizard, so he was very confident that his victory was in sight this time. Go, green-eyed white dragon! Qin Mu threw a summoning ball towards the ring. A white light flickered, and both Ash and Serena couldn't help but narrow their eyes to resist the harsh light. What is it? After the light dissipated and it was clear what appeared in the ring, Ash and Serena were dumbfounded. A dragon that was several times larger than Charizard appeared in the ring at this moment, and the dragon's body was accompanied by light, as if it was not a product of the mortal world. Just looking at the appearance and aura, Ash and Serena were surprised and speechless. Now they really believe that Qin Mu said before that Charizard is the weakest elf in this hall, which is true. Ash, congratulations on defeating Charizard, and now the blue-eyed white dragon is fighting you. Green-eyed white dragon. Xiaoji and Serena came back to their senses and repeated Qin Mu's words. They have grown so big, they have never heard of the name blue-eyed white dragon. I have never seen a dragon elf with such a powerful aura. Oppressed, they didn't even dare to breathe. Ash, look at Pikachu. Hearing Serena's exclamation reminder, Ash looked at Pikachu in the ring. Pikachu, who was just a victor, covered his head with his hands at this moment, closed his eyes, his body trembled slightly, and did not dare to look up at the green-eyed white dragon in front of him. This is the first time Ash has seen Pikachu behave so strangely in the face of an elf. Is this power suppression? Chapter 6. Ash swallowed the saliva in his mouth that he had forgotten to swallow because of shock, and this time he really knew that his victory was hopeless. Charizard he can take Pikachu to defeat with strategic flukes, but this green-eyed white dragon, just standing there, with the powerful aura and the energy fluctuations emitted, the suppressed Pikachu does not dare to move at will. This is the absolute powerhouse in the elven world. Qin Mu was a little surprised by this scene. Why didn't the green-eyed white dragon do anything, and Pikachu was scared like that? Then he also understood that in the world of elves, the strong is king, and the strength of the green-eyed white dragon is far above Pikachu, and Pikachu will be in such a state because of his strength. The green-eyed white dragon saw that his opponent was so intimidating, and he looked disdainful, and then let out a dragon groan. This dragon chant directly shook Pikachu far away. Presumptuous! Don't come nonsense! Qin Mu let out a low roar, and the green-eyed white dragon, who was originally very arrogant, immediately became obedient towards Qin Mu and stopped moving. At this time, Pikachu had already run to Ash's side in fear. Xiaoji hugged Pikachu, who was trembling all over, and submitted to this man named Qin Mu again in his heart. Not only did he say that Charizard was the weakest one in his hands, but he also subdued such a powerful elf that they had never heard of before, and this person's strength was simply terrifying. Not only that, this blue-eyed white dragon with terrifying strength is very well behaved and obedient in front of Qin Mu. You know, the stronger the elf rebellion psychology, even if it is subdued with great effort, it will take a lot of effort to domesticate the elf. If the master's strength is under the elf is very likely to rebel. Therefore, judging from the attitude of the green-eyed white dragon towards Qin Mu, it was possible to know that Qin Mu's strength far exceeded their expectations. Director Qin, I gave up the challenge. Ash said with regret. Pikachu's state is no longer suitable for fighting, although he has other elves, but Pikachu is the strongest one in it. Even Pikachu sees this green-eyed white dragon, let alone other elves. Qin Mu nodded. The gap in strength between the two sides was indeed too big, and there was nothing to fight. Serena, you're right, it's really not a good choice to come to the Dragon Dojo to challenge. Xiaoji turned his head and wanted to talk to Serena, but saw Serena looking at Qin Mu with a foolish look, which startled Xiaoji. Being able to subdue such a powerful elf and open such a strong dragon system hall, Pavilion Master Qin is really powerful. It was the first time Ash had seen Serena like this. As a partner, they had seen a lot of winds and waves, and Serena had never adored a person like she did now. Serena, we should go. Before Xiaoji's words were finished, he saw that Serena had already walked straight in front of Qin Mu. Pavilion Chief Qin. How old are you this year, and are there any? What about that girlfriend, fiancé, or something? Serena's face was red at the moment, and at this moment she had regarded Qin Mu as her idol. Qin Mu smiled a little awkwardly. Serena looked at most 15 or 16, although she was well developed, with a pair of long legs. And her appearance was also excellent, but in the face of this situation, he was not very experienced. Well, I'm 20, my girlfriend is not in a hurry. Serena's eyes lit up when she heard this, her face turned red again, her face was very cute, she was about to say something, but Ash behind her caught up and pulled her away. Serena. It's time for us to go. Ash pulled Serena out a little angrily. That, Director Qin, we will come again. Serena glanced at Qin Mu before being dragged away by Zai. After opening this dragon dojo, Qin Mu has also gained a few fans, but they are not as beautiful as Serena, and it is indeed rare for a 15 or 16-year-old girl to develop her body so well. Come back, green-eyed white dragon. Qin Mu retracted the green-eyed white dragon back into the summoning ball, but he didn't expect that he had the opportunity to take out the green-eyed white dragon, but he didn't have the opportunity to see the green-eyed white dragon show his strength. What Qin Mu didn't know was that at the moment when the blue-eyed white dragon was re-released, Carlos' 4 major forces detected this energy fluctuation at the same time. Elven Alliance Headquarters. Commander. Detected. It is the location under the jurisdiction of the head of the 3rd Eastern District. The head of the survey department hurried to the office of the Alliance Chief, and the urgent matter made him forget the etiquette of knocking on the door. What about the location? There was a hint of joy on the leader's face, but it was quickly replaced by seriousness. The specific location has not yet been locked, but the range is in the eastern part of the 3rd District. Hurry up and let the head of the 3rd District take action immediately. Yes. The Alliance leader's expression was very serious, he knew that the energy fluctuation just now must have been detected by the other major forces, and just like him, he immediately took action. This divine beast, the Elf Alliance is bound to win. Miss Lalizi, summon the district chiefs of the eastern region. The Alliance leader ordered Lalizi, the secretary beside him. Lalizi immediately went to do so. After Lalizi left, the Alliance leader took off the sunglasses he had been wearing, and under the sunglasses, the Alliance leader's left eye turned out to be a black hole. When he was young, he fought a divine beast, but failed miserably, luckily picked up a life, but lost one of his left eyes. Now he is no longer the kid he was back then, and now he has the entire Elf Alliance, not to mention a divine beast, and he is confident that he can take down the 2 divine beasts. In order to prevent this divine beast from escaping under their capture, he specially ordered Miss Lalizi to summon the district chief of the eastern region, and he wanted to make this divine beast have nowhere to escape. For a time, the Longxiu town in the east of Carlos became lively, and Longxiu town was originally the place with the most wild dragon elves, and many trainers who wanted to have dragon elves came here to catch them. But the dragon elf riot half a year ago caused the wild dragon elves here to almost disappear, so fewer and fewer people came, and Longxiu town gradually became deserted. But today, there are suddenly many strangers in Longxiu town, these people are exquisitely dressed, followed by powerful elves. And they are not ordinary people at first glance. And there are 4 groups of people dressed differently, although the clothes are different, but the expressions on the faces of these people are very different, and it looks like they all came for one thing. Soon, someone recognized that these uninvited guests in Longxiu town turned out to be people from the Elf Alliance, the 7-color Taoist Hall, the Night Sea Group, and the Dark Hunting Group. The people known as Carlos' 4 major forces actually appeared here together, and the strange scene in Longxiu town instantly attracted the attention of many media, and more people rushed to Longxiu town. Chapter 7. This is the Elf News. Now the place we are in is Longxiu town. You can see through behind me, there are many people gathered here, and many technicians are holding special detection instruments. Some experts say that this is likely to be the place where the divine beast appears. Wow, where the divine beast appears. I want to go to Longxiu town and see the sacred beasts. I've never seen a divine beast when I'm this big. Going upstairs or not? Carry me one. I heard that there is a newly opened dragon dojo in Longxiu town that is very powerful, so I just stopped by to see it. I've always heard that no one in that dragon hall has been able to challenge it successfully, and I have always wanted to go to that Taoist hall to challenge it. I am a local driver in Longxiu town, who wants to go to Longxiu town. Contact me. 100 Union coins. Major forums and barrages are discussing the emergence of divine beasts in Longxiu town, and many people who want to see divine beasts with their own eyes have gone to Longxiu town, and there is a steady stream of people on the road, and there are more and more people in Longxiu town. Qin Mu heard the noise outside in the Taoist hall, and as soon as he opened the door of the hall, he found that there were many people gathered in front of the Taoist hall. This was the first time that Qin Mu had seen so many people gathered in front of his family Taoist hall, but when he asked, there were few people who wanted to come to the Taoist hall to challenge. Qin Mu knew that these people came here for the sake of divine beasts, and it just so happened that the Dragon Daoist hall he opened was also here, so he came to see it by the way. About mythical beasts again? Although Qin Mu was puzzled in his heart, the arrival of these people also made him happy, because the system judged these people who came to the Dragon System Daoist Hall in order to see the divine beasts as the prestige of the Taoist Hall. Seeing that his reputation was accumulating rapidly, Qin Mu thanked this mysterious divine beast in his heart. Is this the Dragon Dojo? At this moment, a female reporter came here with several photographers. They were originally going to shoot material about the sacred beast, but without the shadow of the sacred beast, they couldn't even squeeze the position. They changed their thinking and thought of coming to this recent most difficult challenge Dragon Dojo interview. Qin Mu nodded. He does not dislike these media, because through the power of the media, more people can be attracted to the dojo, and his reputation will definitely accumulate faster. Is the old curator here? The female reporter continued to ask Qin Mu. Old curator? Qin Mu raised his eyebrows. Could it be that he looked a lot like the staff of the Taoist hall? It is no wonder that the female reporter did not recognize Qin Mu as the curator. In her cognitive range, to be able to open such a powerful Taoist hall in half a year, the curator is definitely a very qualified and powerful person. Most of the people who can do both are already old. I'm sorry, I don't know who the old curator you said is, but if you want to find the curator of the Dragon Daoist Hall, you are below. As soon as Qin Mu's words came out, everyone present cast incredulous eyes. When did a smelly boy dare to call himself the curator? In the crowd, a voice suddenly came out. Everyone looked at the source of that voice and gasped again. The person who said this was none other than the champion trainer Shinde. Shinde has neat short hair, short sleeves, very developed chest and biceps, and tattoos on his chest in the style of split and empty sitting. As a champion trainer, he also owns the legendary elf Readaloud. This makes the character of the god generation become arrogant, and no one is in sight. In his eyes, Qin Mu was only in his early 20s, how could he be the owner of the Dragon Daoist Hall who had not tasted defeat? It must be Qin Mu, this little hairy head who saw the media interview and wanted to show the limelight. Isn't this champion trainer Shinde? Why did he come here too? The gaze that was originally on Qin Mu's side instantly shifted to Shinde's body. Shinde is right, how can the curator of a Taoist hall be a hairy boy who looks no more than 20? What's more, this is not an ordinary Taoist hall. How can someone who can open the Taoist hall to the most difficult challenge to the reputation of a successful Taoist hall in half a year, how can he be so young? That's right, I see that kid is at most a staff member of a dojo, and while the real dragon curator is out, he is here to pretend to be the curator and fool everyone. Everyone's remarks all fell to the side of the gods. Even the female reporter who was originally interviewing Qin Mu saw the appearance of the champion trainer and immediately brought the photographer to the front of Shinde. Hello Shinde. I really didn't expect that you, as a champion trainer, also came to Longxiu town. Why did you come here? The corners of Shinde's mouth went up. Originally he was also attracted by the news of the divine beast, but he heard that there was a dojo here, and no one had ever successfully challenged it, so he immediately attracted his attention. You know, as a champion trainer, what dojo has he never seen? Even the Taoist Hall of the Seven Colors group, except for the Red Dojo, he has not yet challenged, and the other Taoist halls have allowed him to successfully challenge. Here in his God Dai, there is no unsuccessful dojo. That's why he came here. Seeing that Shinde did not answer, the female reporter quickly answered herself in order to alleviate her embarrassment. I know, Shinde must also come for this dojo, which is known as Carlos' most difficult challenge to succeed. After all, as a champion trainer, there should not be a dojo where the Shinde challenge failed. After the female reporter finished speaking, she quickly beckoned the photographer to take pictures around Shinde. That's right, I'm here to break this rumor. In my place, there is no most difficult to challenge the successful dojo. As soon as Shinde's words came out, everyone applauded him. Qin Mu smiled. That's it? Or a champion trainer? Looking at those people who looked like they didn't see anything, Qin Mu shook his head. Stinky boy, I advise you to quickly call out the curator. My god is coming to kick the museum. Qin Mu was too lazy to see this person, and he said coldly. Follow me to the ring. Seeing that Qin Mu, this kid was unrepentant, and he really dared to fight against himself. Shinde snorted coldly and spoke. In that case, then I will teach you a good lesson. Let you know the horror of knowing the champion trainer. Shinde was very energetic, and he swaggered in. Seeing this, the others also rushed to chase in, for fear that there would be no place if it was too late. Coming to the ring, Shinde released his elf Banjara early, and his Banjara is still 100 victories. Qin Mu didn't talk nonsense, and directly released the green-eyed white dragon. The best thing that can be used to block the mouths of these people is strength. Hurry up and release the most powerful elf in your gym. Before the words come out were finished, he was shocked by the green-eyed white dragon in front of him and couldn't speak. In the next second, the green-eyed white dragon shook Banjara away with a dragon roar. With just one blow, Banjara, who was proud of Gode, fainted directly. Others are directly dumbfounded. They didn't even see what was happening, and the battle was over. Ding dong. Reputation has been successfully upgraded to level 3, congratulations to the host for having another chance to choose God. At the same time, Qin Mu's God-chosen system brought him good news. Chapter 8. The appearance of the blue-eyed white dragon not only caused a sensation in the entire Dragon Dojo, but also caused a sensation to everyone in Carlos through the pictures broadcast by several photographers behind the female reporter. The powerful energy that unfolded from the green-eyed white dragon shocked everyone present, including this unseen champion trainer Shinde. Only today did Shinde realize the meaning of the phrase "there are mountains outside the mountains, there are people outside the people, and there is heaven outside the sky." The major forces detected powerful energy fluctuations through the instrument, and they all rushed to the Dragon Daist Hall. The huge Dragon Daist Hall was crowded with people for a while, and these unreasonable people under the Dark Hunting group directly threw out a wave of people inside, making room for them in the Taoist Hall. For a time, the middle-level leaders sent by the four major forces were all gathered in the Taoist Hall. After they saw the green-eyed white dragon in the ring with their own eyes, they were overflowing with surprise. Is this the oppression of the divine beast? Just where the green-eyed white dragon stood motionless, they felt an invisible force pressing against them, and even had the illusion that they did not dare to gasp. Some of the weaker elves could not withstand the energy suppression of the green-eyed white dragon without the order of their master, and hid in the summoning ball. Such an elf, they have never seen before. The appearance is all white, but with light, as if the whole body is surrounded by a set of indestructible armor. The most shocking thing is the pair of blue eyes, deep and mysterious. It seems to have a kind of magic. People dare not look at each other for too long. Li Wang of the Dark Hunting group is also in this Dragon Dojo, and he is accompanied by a Dr. Wanswillen who calls himself an elf encyclopedia. Dr. Wan, what kind of elf is this? Wanswillen had studied elves all his life, but he had never seen this strange style dragon in front of him. Even in the book, there is no description of this elf. Wanswillen even took out the tablet and searched in the database, but still found nothing. Seeing Wanswillen shook his head, Li Wang frowned, and looked at his subordinates who were holding detection instruments in their hands. Are you sure that the elf emitting powerful energy is the one in the ring? The man holding the detection instrument directly handed it to Li Wang. Li Wang fixed his eyes and saw that the instrument that had just been in good condition had directly failed after entering the Taoist hall. The numbers above are constantly changing and jumping. This shows that the energy here is so powerful that it cannot be detected at all. Li Wang looked at the other forces mixed in with the crowd. Wang Jialan, the 3rd District Chief of the Elf Alliance, the grandson of Hong Lao, chairman of the Seven Colors Taoist group, and the daughter of Yalanshan, chairman of the Yehe group, were all in this dragon hall. Li Wang touched the silver legendary summoning ball he was holding in his arms, and then put his hand down. At such a juncture, the Dark Hunting group cannot take the lead. Although Li Wang wanted to get that divine beast very much, but now that he saw it with his own eyes, he knew in his heart that this silver legendary spirit given to him by the leader might not be able to defeat this divine beast. If the other major forces intervened in his snatching process, it would be more troublesome, so Li Wang chose to wait and see first. Father, do I want to make a move? In front of Li Wang's right, Yelingwei was talking to Yalanshan through the communication device on her ear. No, Wei don't act rashly first. You and Elder Hong's grandson Hung Grui guard this divine beast well. Beware of letting others snatch this divine beast. Good father. More and more media have poured into the Dragon Dojo, and the video of the blue-eyed white dragon has been disseminated on various programs and platforms. As long as it is about this topic, it will explode instantly. The TV station even invited several elf experts to study this elf that everyone had never seen or heard of. Hello everyone, this is the Elf World column. This column specially invited the most authoritative experts and doctors in the industry to talk about this mythical beast that appeared in the Dragon System Hall for the hot topic of the mythical beast recently. Regarding this divine beast, several of our experts consulted many books, but they did not find information about this elf, so we have reason to think that this is a brand new divine beast breed. And judging from the energy fluctuations emitted by this divine beast is a very rare high-grade breed, and it may be able to rank in the top 3 in the ranking of divine beasts. These words of the expert instantly detonated the barrage area in the forum. High-level divine beasts. I heard that it is rare in a century. I have seen such a rare divine beast in my life. So sorry. My friend sent me a video of the scene. It was so shocking. At first I thought that the appearance of a mythical beast in Longsu town was a rumor, but I didn't expect it to be true. So sorry. Tell you as a witness at the scene, people who have not come to the scene to see this divine beast are simply at a loss. Not only the visual impact, but also the sense of oppression that only divine beasts have, which really makes you feel very small in front of that divine beast. Heavy money to ask for a ticket to Longsu town. Is it too late to go? Just as everyone was immersed in the shock brought by the blue-eyed white dragon, 2 mysterious figures came to Longsu town. In the Carlos region, there is no shortage of very powerful elf trainers, but all powerful elf trainers have a common ideal, that is, to have a divine beast as their elf. Such trainers exist, but they are rare. The strength of the divine beast is a big gap higher than that of ordinary elves. It is a chasm that the elves cannot cross in their lifetime, and the trainers who can subdue and tame the divine beasts are very terrifying. Trainers with divine beasts are not interested in elves in general at all, except mythical beasts. Especially a brand new breed that has never been discovered. This is very tempting for trainers who possess divine beasts. In Carlos, the 2 most famous trainers with divine beasts, Kyun Lee, had the same idea as Doctor and met in Longsu town. The 2 looked at each other and smiled, although they each covered their faces, the aura of the divine beast they carried instantly made them recognize each other. I haven't seen the appearance of the divine beast for a long time, and the divine beast that appeared this time seems to be very interesting. Chisato took off the hat on his head and revealed his face. Who says it isn't, but it's really unexpected to meet you here, we seem to have been missing for a few years, right? Doctor also took off the mask on his face. The 2 trainers with divine beasts actually looked very young. Let's go meet this new divine beast. The 2 made their purpose clear and went straight to the Dragon Department Dojo. Chapter 9. Soon, Kyun Lee and Doctor came to the front of the Dragon Dojo, and the 2 covered their faces again and sneaked into the crowd. After seeing the green-eyed white dragon in the ring, Kyun Lee and Doctor looked at each other. Sure enough, seeing it with your own eyes is very different from seeing it on TV. Just by observing, the 2 could feel that the strength of this divine beast could not be underestimated. It's just that how could such a powerful divine beast appear in a small hall? The 2 took a closer look and found that the green-eyed white dragon would ignore and obey as long as they met the eyes of that person. And this person is none other than Qin Mu, who is standing on the high platform in the middle of the ring. This person is a young man who claims to be the curator of the Dragon Department Taoist Hall. Doctor and Kyun Lee both feel incredible, although they also have divine beasts, but they are also about 30 years old. As the leader of the Kalo region, Kyun Lee spent huge financial and material resources when he first obtained the divine beast, and Doctor's divine beast was directly inherited from the family, and they did not have the strength to control the divine beast when they were in their 20s. And this young man not only possessed the divine beast was even very obedient to him. After being surprised in their hearts, the 2 quickly calmed down. Although they didn't know how the young man obtained that divine beast, they firmly believed that the young man's strength in controlling the divine beast was not as strong as theirs. Because Kyun Lee and Doctor have the legendary Rift Seat and Lashios respectively, the 2 have spent a lot of effort and time on domesticating and controlling the divine beast. Whether it is the Rift Seat or Lashios, they have very terrifying strength. Kyun Lee had been staring at the green-eyed white dragon in the ring, but he was calculating in his heart how much he would have a chance of winning if he fought this white dragon with his own split seat. Chisato thinks that his winning rate is extremely high, but Kyun Lee looked at Doctor again. He and Doctor are also enemies and friends, seemingly friends on the surface, but secretly they have been fighting each other, wanting to separate from each other. Although he really wanted to use his split seat to fight the green-eyed white dragon, he would never act rashly without Doctor making a move. Doctor noticed the gaze that Kyun Lee fell on him, as a trainer with a divine beast, he still knew Qinli for so many years, he could naturally guess what Qinli was thinking. His Lashios hadn't met an opponent for a long time, and now there was finally a chance for Lashios to fight, but Doctor could only endure it for the time being. Because in addition to his scruples, there are also people from the 4 major forces. In order not to cause more trouble, Doctor also decided to watch the situation first. Qin Mu, who was standing on the high platform in the center of the ring, looked at the densely packed people below, saying something about the divine beast to his blue-eyed white dragon, and he immediately understood. It turned out that the birth of the divine beast that everyone had been saying before was his blue-eyed white dragon. The terrifying strength of the green-eyed white dragon made Carlos people mistakenly believe that a new divine beast was born. Therefore, now the Dragon Department Taoist Hall will be crowded with so many people, and there are many people who can't squeeze in, so they have been guarding outside the Taoist temple, and the entire Dragon Department Taoist Hall is blocked by water leakage. Unexpectedly, it was the blue-eyed white dragon that brought so much prestige to Qin Mu's Taoist Hall. This also allowed him to save enough to raise the reputation of the dojo to the 3rd level, and successfully won the 3rd chance of the gods selection rewarded by the system. Qin Mu thought in his heart that since the blue-eyed white dragon could bring him so much prestige, then he would definitely brush his reputation more and more by taking advantage of the opportunity of the 3rd divine selection to choose a more powerful dragon spirit. Qin Mu immediately checked the god selection system. This time, the god choice is similar to the previous one, and there are also 3 attributes for him to choose from. The 3 attributes are Earth, Wind, and Fire. After thinking for a while, Qin Mu chose the Fire attribute, because the Fire attribute was more powerful than the Earth attribute and the Wind attribute. After Qin Mu finished selecting attributes, it did not end like the last time, but 3 more entries appeared. Qin Mu is not surprised, each time the prestige increase will be much more powerful than the last god chosen, and some changes are normal. Qin Mu continued to check these 3 entries, and when he saw these entries, his heart became more and more happy. The terms are King of Dragons, Fight for King, Oath of Life. Qin Mu knew that every entry corresponded to a powerful dragon. Looking at these entries, Qin Mu could roughly imagine how powerful these dragons were. Qin Mu did not hesitate too much, and directly chose the King of the Dragon. If nothing else, this entry was very good when he heard it. Ding dong! Has the host confirmed the choice of King of Dragons? Confirm. Ding dong! God's chosen success, congratulations to the host for obtaining the King of Dragons Deathwing. Reminder, the King of Dragons, the Lord of Destruction, appears only in Scorched Earth. Qin Mu was delighted, and he was already looking forward to it, and after hearing the system's words, he couldn't wait to see the true face of this Deathwings. It would definitely not work to release it in the Taoist Hall, and the Daoist Hall he had worked so hard to build did not want to be destroyed at the hands of Deathwing. As soon as Qin Mu thought about it, he immediately came down from the high platform in the middle of the ring, and then came directly from the back door to the back mountain of the Taoist Hall. At the beginning, Qin Muai chose to establish the Dragon Department Taoist Hall in this place, because he took a fancy to this back mountain behind the Taoist Hall. This area of the back mountain is very vast, and Qin Mu originally wanted to use the back mountain as a training ground for his dragon elves, but he never practiced it. Qin Mu suddenly left the Taoist Hall, which attracted the attention of many people. Look! The kid who called himself the curator is gone. When the media reporters found out, they immediately brought their own team of photographers to follow. Qin Mu's actions also attracted the attention of many people with ulterior motives. What surprised them was that the man actually allowed his divine beast to be in the ring, and he actually left. Keep up! Keep an eye on him! A small number of people in the Taoist Hall also followed Qin Mu to the back mountain. Qin Mu naturally noticed that there were many people following behind him, but he didn't care. Because, with the green-eyed white dragon there, these people want to break into the Taoist Hall is simply a fool's dream. The domineering silver-white dragon saw that someone dared to break into the Master Qin Mu's Taoist Hall. I don't know if I'm alive or dead. The green-eyed white dragon pressed a dragon claw to block the door of the Taoist Hall. The low dragon roar trembled everyone's hearts. Media reporters and some trainers who wanted to break into the dojo looked up at the green-eyed white dragon. I saw the green-eyed white dragon eyes showing a cold light, staring at everyone condescendingly. It looks like saying, "And, offend one more step, die." People were terrified and swallowed their saliva in horror. They turned their heads and ran without looking back, for fear that they would be torn to pieces by the green-eyed white dragon. The green-eyed white dragon snorted contemptuously. The power of the dragon, with just one glance, scared everyone away. Qin Mu unhurriedly took out the summoning ball containing the death wings. The entire body of this summoning ball is wrapped in obsidian, which is a product of magma, and one is worth millions. Qin Mu could feel the endless energy in this summoning ball just by holding it in his hand. Qin Mu threw this summoning ball into the air of the coming back mountain. Show up! Death Wing. Chapter 10. A flame appeared out of thin air in the sky, and the flame grew larger and larger, and a black shadow gradually appeared inside that became clearer and clearer. A black dragon flew out of this flame, although the flame became smaller and smaller, gradually disappearing. Although this dragon is completely black, every inch of its skin is attached to hot magma. Every muscle texture has a magma link, and if you look closely, these magma seem to still flow on this dragon. With the appearance of the dragon, a twisted space appeared in the sky due to the intense heat. Several rows of large trees in the back mountain have directly become dead wood because of this heat wave. The Deathwing looked in the direction where Qin Mu was, opened its wings, and looked at Qin Mu obediently. Qin Mu was immersed in the shock that the wings of death brought to him. The unfolded wings of the Deathwing simply take the horror aesthetic to the extreme. Every inch of hideous skin on it is like a little ghost dancing its claws. It's like a dark web with nowhere to escape. As soon as the wings of the Deathwing unfolded, Qin Mu felt that the sky was half dark. Deathwing waved its wings and landed on the back hill. But when it fell, the land in the back mountain began to shake without warning. All the grass and trees on the back turned to ashes the moment the Deathwing landed. Within 500 meters of the land touched by the Deathwing, it was charred into scorched earth in an instant. A few seconds later, magma appeared under the feet of the Deathwing, and with it as the center, it spread around the back mountain. One heat wave after another hit, impacting Qin Mu's vision and senses. Deathwing, King of Dragons, Lord of Destruction, only scorched earth. Seeing this scene, Qin Mu muttered these words, and he finally understood why the system would give such a warm reminder. The people who were shocked by the blue-eyed white dragon in the Taoist temple did not know what happened, but they all felt a sudden violent shaking under their feet, and then felt that the air was filled with a heat wave. Hot. Oppress. Suffocate. All kinds of uncomfortable sensations were coming towards them, and they even felt an invisible energy sweeping in. The people in the Taoist temple began to be restless. This feeling was too uncomfortable, and some people could not bear to run out of the Taoist temple. The people who ran out did not feel better, the sense of oppression and suffocation still existed, and the heat wave in the air hit wave after wave, and the smell of scorched earth was still permeated. It's like a volcano that has been dormant for hundreds of years has erupted. Soon it was discovered that many wild elves hiding in all corners had run out restlessly. As if there was some catastrophe, running around. People couldn't help but be amazed. Could it be said that another divine beast was born in the Carlos region? The people and elves of the entire Carlos region felt powerful energy fluctuations from Deathwing. And this time the energy fluctuation is different from the energy fluctuation of the green-eyed white dragon, and this time the energy fluctuation is more wild and domineering. Some weak elves who were relatively close to the energy fluctuations actually passed out directly. The strange behavior of the elves, as well as the violent energy fluctuations, attracted the attention of a powerful elf. Kigald landed on the highest mountain in the Carlos region and looked somewhere to the east. As the patron saint of the Carlos region, it had not felt such a strong energy fluctuation for a long time, and in a short period of time, there were two such powerful energy fluctuations in that place. Moreover, stronger than ever. The headquarters of the Elf Alliance has exploded, and the survey department has detected a huge energy fluctuation, and this energy fluctuation is still in the direction of the Dragon Dojo. Damn, what's going on? First, Qin Mu obtained the blue-eyed white dragon. How come there are more violent energy fluctuations now? Could it be that the divine beast can't be done? The alliance leader only felt a headache. The appearance of a divine beast had already made them anxious, but they didn't expect another one. What happened to the Carlos region? Did you poke the nest of the divine beast? Could it be? Suddenly, a terrifying thought appeared in the mind of the alliance leader. The first energy fluctuation was the green-eyed white dragon, and the green-eyed white dragon was Qin Mu's elf. Could it be that this time, it was Qin Mu who made the ghost again? Thinking of this, the alliance leader immediately asked people to take Qin Mu's personal information. Not long after, Miss Lalizi came with Qin Mu's information. The alliance leader took the information, and he frowned and looked at it over and over again. According to the data, Qin Mu's resume is very ordinary, no different from most of the trainers in the Carlos region. But the more simple and ordinary the information, the more frightened it made the alliance leader tremble. Can ordinary people establish a famous dojo in half a year? Can ordinary people possess divine beasts? What a fuck! The alliance leader really wanted to meet this person named Qin Mu in person. It's just that if he personally comes forward, the impact on the Elf Alliance will definitely be very unfavorable at that time, and he will also be caught by other forces as a handle to attack the Elf Alliance. Not only did the Elf Alliance leader have such an idea, but the leaders of the other major forces all became fully interested in this person named Qin Mu. It's just that what makes them even more curious now is, what is this newly emerged divine beast? Qunli and Doctor have never left the Dragon Dojo, and after feeling a new energy fluctuation, the two of them couldn't sit still. This energy fluctuation is obviously stronger than the energy fluctuation of this green-eyed white dragon. The two of them were already concerned about the strength of the green-eyed white dragon, and now a more powerful divine beast has appeared, which shocked Qunli and Doctor to the point of being unable to express. Originally, the two of them still had doubts about whether Qin Mu had the strength to have a green-eyed white dragon, but they did not expect that in a short period of time, another divine beast appeared in the Dragon Dao Hall, which made them unable to continue to be calm. If you wait and see, there may be no chance of challenge. Qunli doesn't want such an outcome. He even somewhat regretted why he didn't challenge the green-eyed white dragon in the first place. Chisato looked at Doctor, and an idea emerged in his mind. Originally thought that there was only one divine beast in the Taoist hall, he chose to wait and see and not challenge, but now there is another divine beast, his split seat must not be able to pick two, let him challenge now will definitely not succeed. However, if his rift seat is coupled with Dark Slashios, the two of them can definitely challenge success together. Qunli did not grind, and directly told Doctor his thoughts, and Doctor immediately hit it off with Qunli, and he also had this intention. However, they also agreed that now was not a good time for them to take on the challenge. This time, they no longer despised Qin Mu or underestimated the enemy, because the only result they wanted to fight was to challenge successfully. This is at stake with the reputation of Qianli and Doctor's divine beast trainer. Therefore, they must be well prepared, choose a suitable time to challenge Qin Mu, and defeat his divine beast in full view. This day will not be long. After Chisato and Doctor strengthened their determination to challenge, the two silently left the Dragon Dojo. You've reached the end of Part 1. Want to know what happens next? Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue listening. Join Patreon and continue the story from Part 2. Thank you for listening and supporting the channel.